All right. What's going on, man? So this miniseries, I know it's been out for a little bit, but it was really good. Now I was very hesitant in watching this because I thought it was gonna be really cheesy, just kind of different both angles. I didn't know how Abe Donovan was gonna really direct this film, and I'm just very hesitant just watching it. I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to see this. It was been on Netflix for the longest, but one day over the weekend, I was like, you know what, let me go and see how it is, because I've seen different reviews on it, and I kind of love more about, I'm learning more about the justice system and what African Americans actually have to go through, and what they have done in the past, and what kind of influenced the generations that we have here today in the community. And just really when the basics, man, of 1989. I mean, just back in Harlem, these group of guys went to Central Park just to have fun. And now these are what children do in New York. When you go out, you have fun, you party, man, you do what you gotta do, roller skating ring, you do all kinds of stuff, man. And they just came up and witnessed people just beating up other people from different races, man, in a part that was just minding their own business. And so when the police came, and I just like how just everything collectively came together in that first episode, man. Just police came together and just trying to arrest each and every single one of them. These 5 guys, man, just so happened get arrested and caught up, because they started running away from the police because they didn't want to be caught. They didn't want to get arrested, even though they didn't do none of the crime. Now, pretty much, if you just research the story, it was just like a young woman that was jogging from after work and got brutalized, man. She got raped, and she didn't die, but she had some brain damage. And for the most part, they just say it was a group of black kids. It was black people there, majority of black people there. The kids that we have here, we're going to give them justice regardless of what we do. We're going to find a way for this young woman to have some type of justice. And for the most part, they gave everybody, I mean, the wrong people in custody. And when it was in the custody battle, man, and how they was getting manipulated, especially Corey Wise, man, played by Jamal Jerome, and he did a really great job, man. But Corey Wise and Raymond, and you had Antron, I mean, it was just so deep, man, because Corey Wise, he was the one, if you watch it, he was the one that was just with Yusuf, who was one of his friends, and they were just having a good time. But when the detectives was doing the interrogation, he was just so happened to be with him, and he actually went downtown for questioning with him, because he didn't want to just leave his friend behind, which is a good friend, because if he would have just stayed behind, yeah, he probably wouldn't get in too much trouble. But his mom would have been like, okay, well, y'all was together, why you didn't go to downtown with him, what kind of friend you are? And overall, he ended up still doing that and getting caught up. I mean, they was just beating on them. They would say, hey, they was tricking them to tell on each other, just to confess to something they didn't do. Now, Antron, in this way, his father was in his life, but his father wasn't in the same time, spiritually and mentally, because he was really hard on him. He's like, son, if you want to get out of this situation, you're going to have to admit this crime that you've done, that you have raped this woman at the park. And he was like 14 at the time. He was like, I got my whole life ahead of me. Why would I admit to something that I didn't do? This is ridiculous. And he was just very upset, and his dad was just really angry. He didn't want to disappoint his father, but at the same time, he thinking about his life, like, how I'm going to get through school, how I'm going to have a family, like, this is crazy. And it was just kind of very emotional how the director would display this, because him and his father relationship, Antron, their relationship pretty much dwindled. It dwindled down. I mean, it didn't, as I don't even know if he really forgave them, because as he got older, man, he served like 14 years in prison, man. He was just like, wow, like, my father wasn't really there. I mean, he didn't even want to testify on trial to actually help defend him. His mom was doing pretty much everything, and his dad was just on the corner, just doing whatever you do, doing drugs, whatever. And he was just saying, like, man, I'm about to go to jail for something I didn't do. My dad's not really helping me at this time. He's chastising me. That was really emotional. Corey was in solitary confinement. I mean, he had to really admit on camera that, what he done. Because they said, hey, if you just admit this crime, then you will go home. They lied to him, end up doing it. And for the most part, man, it just cost him his life, almost, man. I mean, just witnessed his brother dying. It was just crazy. His brother was like, transgender. It was just really crazy, man. I mean, just every episode after episode, I believe it was like 4 episodes. And I was like, man, this is really good. I don't know if they're gonna turn this to a book, but and this was this was based on a true story. I want to say there was light at the end of the tunnel. They ended up getting themselves together. A lot of them got married. I want to say after they served that little sentencing. But man, during the court trial, it was really crazy because I really thought they was going to win. But then again, too, because it was a lack of evidence, they researched like the DNA and the semen and all this stuff. When a woman got raped, it did not match none of the suspects. And I'm thinking, cool, but they utilized that manipulative tactic when the videos displayed them, hey, I raped this person, or I did this, I did that, and I was like, wow, man. So it didn't really convince the jury to the point that the jury was like, hey, man, you guys are guilty, and that kind of broke my heart. So I really thought it was gonna be the end of that, but it talked about how traumatizing they had to, the effects on their family. Like Raymond, I think he was from Mexican descent, man, or Hispanic, in the Brooklyn area, and his mother was really upset because his son wasn't there and they was having a different feast, and how his dad had another wife and he had a stepchild. He had to really reintroduce himself into the family, and he wasn't getting along with his stepmother. It was a lot of things going on, man, and how it was very difficult for them to live while they're in the system. Some of them had aspirations to go to school. It was very difficult because every time you fill out a job application or any type of application that's going to help better yourself and during self-development within a corporation, they always have that box, right? Oh, were you a felon? Did you try to misdemeanor on this? And 9 times out of 10, they're not going to accept anyone in their company that has those type of crimes on their record. And that was hard. They actually talked about how to transition in that, but I really like how their resiliency and their perseverance is that towards the end, Corey Wise found out the dude confessed that he had beef with in the penitentiary, that he was the one, it was the Mexican kid who was the one who actually ended up raping that child. And then for the most part, I believe they expunged all of their record, and then they actually got some praise from it for just doing crime that they never committed, and they end up having families down the line, whatever, as it written in their bio. But man, just being traumatized like that, man, and at a young age, you just like, wow, like just for something they didn't do. And it's just a lot of people that go through that. Like I was reading a book by Anthony Ray Hinton, the gentleman who was on death row for 30 years for a crime that he didn't commit, that happened 12 miles away from his job. It's crazy. Like it really reminds you that it was one powerful quote, and they stated that this really, when the attorneys was arguing back and forth, and they were saying like, hey, this is really not about justice, it's not about being fair, it's about survival. And that's just how it is today, man. But I don't want to sit up here and say this, man. If you guys didn't see this, man, go and watch it, man. It might make you upset, if you really have a heart and change for people, man, and just helping people, man. At the end of the day, just you really want to have aspirations to actually understand the law and getting to the justice system and stuff like that, man. You don't really want to change for the people, but it really gave me a change of heart personally. But man, this was really well directed by Ava Donovan. She did a really great job. I love her movies, I love her project and her work. This was excellent, and I believe that Corey, the guy who played Corey Wise, received an Emmy Award like 3 weeks ago. But this was well scripted, man. I'm really looking forward to more black projects from her. But this is pretty much my review on this really great mini-series. I loved it. 8.7 out of 10. Go ahead and watch it, man. It will give you a change of heart. But this is your boy Young Lean. You guys continue to comment, subscribe. I love you guys, man. Email me at writing9312@gmail.com, please, if you have any topic requests. I'm out. Take care.